Hey everybody, we're up here at Lake Pacagama with Matt Thompson. Matt, a lot of wind up here this week, a lot of wind. And so what we want to talk a little bit about today is how do you rig your bass boat when you really know you're going to have to fight through the wind conditions?
You know, and it's funny because I think one of the biggest misnomers out there are bass boats are for flat, calm water, and big, deep V's are if you're going to the Dakotas or going out west or going to a Leech or a Mille Lacs, you better have a big, deep V. And I don't think you could be further from the truth. These boats will capably, safely, and comfortably handle any water that a big water, deep V-style boat will, but it takes a little bit of learning curve, right? It's more of a driving and it's more of a rigging. So a lot of that happens before I ever hit the water. The boat, when you look at a lot of our boats, these tour anglers, we don't know the water we're gonna be on. So we set them up for big water. The reason we run a lot of, like I've got the dual Humminbird 10-inch helixes here, I run a bass boat technology mount. And what it does is it locks everything securely here. So there's nothing worse than driving across the lake and your graph folds over, right? Or falls off, or this is just always right here. I run one full screen GPS, one full screen sonar when I'm running across the lake. It's eye on the prize. Mm-hmm. If you look, we run dual trim switches at our steering wheel. And the reason being is one is the jack plate, one is the motor trim. Once I've got that jack plate set, and the rougher it is, the lower I keep my jack plate. The calmer it is, the more I can raise my jack plate and accomplish speed. But what I'm doing with the jack plate is really controlling a lot of the bow lift that the motor can only do so much. A jack lift plate gives me a lot of extra. My main motor on that trim, that's the one I run the most. So when I'm running, I've got both hands on the wheel. The reason we all run a hot foot throttle is for the same reason that they don't give you a hand throttle in your pickup, right? Everybody thinks, oh, that's the goofiest thing in the world. Could you hand drive your pickup with a hand throttle? No, everybody reaches in, they put their foot on the gas pedal. Both hands on the steering wheel, foot on the gas. So now when I'm running across that lake, what I'm doing is I'm using the appropriate amount of bow lift to set myself over the top of it. A deep V, what you're doing is you're bringing your nose down to split it. With a bass boat, you're going over the tops of them. So there's a commitment level to driving it, right? But you need a boat that's got a substantial amount of bow lift. It needs to be very responsive, and that's why I do, obviously I do run a Skeeter, but all boats are good boats now. The Skeeter's got a tremendous amount of reaction on the trim. I don't even have to use the throttle, I can just use my trim. But the biggest thing is, like I said, having a boat that you feel confident that you can go on that lake, having your equipment rigged up, ready to go. We live with a life jacket on. Life jackets aren't for little kids, they're for big water, right? We live with a life jacket on, our kill switch is on. All of our bolts, screws, nuts, we check them relentlessly. If we're in a parking lot before an event, you'll see everybody checking every screw, every nut, every bolt, and it's all preparation.